Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, I might grab a bat, I don't know. My wrath, my blood boils over like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me fucked up, let me show you what's up. Cause enough is enough. I'll take a face full of pavement just to make a statement. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll put it on your face to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit, I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you go wish you had shut the fuck up real bad. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. I don't fucking take smoke, I'ma poke a hole through you, choking's overdue. Come at me and you won't get any older, dude. Crack your holder too. Heating up inside of me, blood so violently, thanks for trying me. Now it's finally time to see how this rivalry becomes a dynasty. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll put it on your face to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit, I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you go wish you had shut the fuck up real bad. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.
Wait, you're lying to us and I can own a house. I can barely have a job. Forced into the gig economy, I get to deliver burritos.
Oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show.
Well, that one's on me. I'm really not too quite sure what just happened. I probably forgot to remove a bit of the intro that I had replaced that with. So that's on me. It is a Monday though, right? And as always, on Mondays, I have Devil's Advocates backstage. I look forward to Monday nights very much so, as I know a lot of people here in the Hive do. So thank you for your patience right there. Not going to lie, I started sweating a little bit. Pucker factor was at like a 9.8. I'm like thinking to myself, oh God, just staring into a black screen. Not sure what's really about to happen, but then I saw the timer counting down, and there was only 10 or 11 seconds left. But nonetheless, I want to go ahead and say what's up to everybody. Last night's roundtable was awesome. Thank you again. Thank you again to Cleo and Marissa, two absolutely incredible stories. And I'm just glad that there's people in the Hive that are tuning in that have these stories that are able to come forward and share them with us all. It's great perspective. So thank you to those two. Yeah. Not the pucker is right. No, we were puckering. What up, Shoe Girl? How you doing? Yeah. You know, I found this hat, oddly enough, at Marshall's. And it's a golf hat. It's made by Waggle, but I'm like, damn, that kind of looks like a Hive hat. So it's a Hive hat now. What up, Amanda B from West Virginia? Drew Bledsoe says, let's go. Cubs can't win in the Birds. Free VK, join our Discord, tip your host, people. Tip your waiters, don't you? I love it, man. That first Brewers game was, I guess after the first at-bat, I was a little bit worried, but then that worry went away quite quickly. Brewers got it done. Thank you so much for the super chat. What's going on? Molly's tuning in from Kentucky. 1-1's in the house. Terry Weed, absolutely. Yes, it was. What up, Becky Young? Becky Yoon? Sorry if I said that wrong. Robin Lynn was good. Grammy T, you're damn right. The Hive is buzzing tonight. ATL Drew, what's Gucci, my Louie? Love it. Sarah Sleuth, tuning in from the UK. What's up, Beck and Shells? April, what's up? Open Your Peeper says, yeah, that was good. Helen's in Ireland. Go for a Guinness. What up, Lily? Yeah, right. Yeah. What up, Gabby Girl and Miss Maggie? Philly Special. Liqueured by Leslie. Is that how you say it? I think. Mildly big old biddies. Big old biddies. Love that. It's become quite the theme on Monday nights. I could see Devil's Advocate off screen is down with his head down laughing. Good day from Australia. It's raining in Kansas. Still tuning in from the RV. What up? Liana, Laura, Jasper. Good evening, Hive. You all look lovely. Go Blue Jays. Brooke, good to see you. Gamble, good to see you. Not an NPC's tuning in. Sarah's in Virginia. Is there anybody who's tuning in for the first time? Let's welcome the new members of the Hive. If this is your first time tuning in and you have no idea what to expect, let me just tell you that if you're easily rattled or offended on behalf of others, this is not going to be the stream for you. Not because we're out here disrespecting people. We're just not afraid to question the narrative. We are not afraid to call out what we feel is BS, and it's okay to disagree in here in the chat. The mods have a few simple rules, which are no trolling, no threatening, no spamming. Other than that, we have great conversations every night, 7 p.m. Central. So if you're new here, welcome. Please hit that subscribe button, turn those alerts and notifications on so you don't miss one. And then after every live, if you cannot stay for the entire, on average, like 75 to 90-minute streams, the next morning I post a quick cut. So highlights of the stream, about 25 to 40 minutes typically. So yes, absolutely. Welcome to the Hive. Penny says DA's reputation is preceding him with mildly Tiggle biddies. That's quite the entrance and the intro for DA. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to bring him on up. Yeah, there he is.
No, dude. No, you need to give me a couple more minutes after the Tiggle biddies.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh my God. I can't do it. It's my Achilles heel.
What? The big old titties? I mean, big old bitties.
You know what I have to say, by the way, for two things I have to say. I realize we're going to talk about all the stuff we normally talk about, but one, when I'm digging your music backstage, I'm so in the groove, having a little drink and digging in the music that it's almost disappointing when we have to go live. Cause I'm like, can we just stay here, have some drinks and just jam to the music? It's just freaking fun.
It is fun. It is fun.
Second of all,
oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go.
Playoff baseball, right? So Mariners, my Mariners haven't been in the playoffs for a long time, 20 something years. Game one, we were ahead and lost the lead, and it was heartbreaking. And then we go against, arguably the best pitcher in baseball, Scooble, last night. And this is what I love about playoff baseball. I love this. I remember this from back in the night. I'm not fucking looking. Anyways, there was a moment in the game. We're going against the best pitcher in baseball. The Mariners have homered off him twice. We have the lead. You can't miss that opportunity. If you get to that guy, you have to close the deal. They come back and tie the game, and they pan to the audience. And when the Mariners went up one more run, I saw a guy bawling in the audience, and his wife's hugging and consoling him. I fucking get it. Like, this means everything to some people. Playoff baseball means everything. And to be able to come back and win that game against the best pitcher in baseball, you had the lead, you pissed it away. You're thinking, here we go again. We can't win a fucking game. We can't get a break. It was highly emotional. And I remember how much I love October baseball. So anyways.
Yeah. October baseball, there is nothing like it. It's kind of like, well, don't get me wrong, I played baseball. I like watching baseball, but nothing hits in any sport like the playoffs do. I would even say like the World Cup. I never watch soccer, but I always watch the World Cup. It's different when the stakes are higher. I don't know if you'll ever see me sobbing in the stands over a loss, but I could see like the emotional anticipation, right? That's what they say, rub some dirt on it. There's no crying in baseball. Funny enough, I actually, this is kind of not that I didn't cry and I didn't rub dirt on this, but this is kind of crazy. So, in high school, when I was a freshman or sophomore, I got moved up to varsity because my bat, dude, I could rake. I could hit pretty well. So, not to toot my own horn there, but yeah, toot my own horn for living in the glory days. But no, real quick, just to tell a quick story. So I got moved up to varsity for the playoffs, and they put me at first base. Dude, I'd never played first base. I played left field, and I played third base. So now I'm like scooping, and I'm having to like jump and try to like block the balls out if it's a bad throw. Well, there was a high throw, so I jump, I catch it, and I go and I tag this dude like kind of midair backwards.
Yeah.
And I miss, so I stick my leg back and I put my freaking heel up. I'm on my toe in the center of the bag. And in baseball, you wear metal cleats, dude. His cleat went into my freaking Achilles, dude.
Oh, wow.
And cut me pretty good. Like right to the left of my Achilles. And what's funny is it was the cleat was so sharp, it ripped my shoe leather, and like the stuffing inside the shoe was out. So I'm like hobbling. I didn't even know I'm like bleeding. If you've ever cut yourself really good, when there's like that second where you look and you see the gash before the blood starts coming out right away.
Oh yeah.
And dude, so this is my first game on varsity. Nobody knows me really. So I'm like hobbling into the middle of the infield, and I just sit down, and the coach goes, "Are you good?" And I just go, "No." And I fall back. And that was my experience with getting called up to varsity as a sophomore. Was it lasted about 4 innings from going to get stitches and butterfly band-aids.
You just reminded me. You just reminded me. I probably people are going to kick me in the teeth for not getting on script, but do you remember? I was looking it up. Steve Lyons in baseball, who slid in after beating out a bunt in baseball, and he stood up he's on national TV, and he stood up and he pulled his pants down without thinking because he's cleaning the dirt out of his pants, and just completely like ripped down his pants on national TV, and like, oh shit, that was hilarious, the best moment ever. Anyways, now that I'm thinking about
why, because you got to see a guy take his pants out. Is that what you're saying, DA? That's what it sounds like.
But it sounds a little in retrospect, it sounds a little like that, but it's not what I meant. It just was the embarrassment factor of realizing I just did that on national TV. It was funny.
Dude, there was speaking of embarrassing sports moments too, there was this you know how the NFL has the combine and they do the 40-yard dash? Did you ever see the dude that he's like this big lineman from Florida, and he's trucking down doing the 40-yard dash, but he gets through the finish line, he trips, and he starts to stumble, and he falls forward, and they run all of these things just in like compression shorts. And so when he falls, dude, the compression shorts slide down, and the camera is zoomed in exactly on everything. And so it's like, welcome to the NFL. Here are the boys. You know what I mean? Like, it was. If you've seen, Chris Jones. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
This is how the night's going to start. We're in big trouble.
Nah, we'll be all right. We'll get it back on track. So when we were talking off stream a little bit, which we don't talk too much about what we're going to really dive into. One of the things that I said for a topic would to have a conversation on like comparative suppression. Okay, so what does that mean? And it ultimately means that we now live in a society where it doesn't matter what political side you're on. It doesn't matter what side maybe you're on with medical beliefs, with religion, parenting, schooling, right? It doesn't matter what it is. Have you noticed that everything is suppressed and divided the exact same way? It's copy and paste. So I thought that would be an interesting topic tonight, especially with just it kind of seems like the cases that are going on, and I'm not sure exactly which ones you're all diving into, super deep, but between Idaho 4, even Charlie Kirk, Idaho 4 kind of fell off after the Charlie Kirk thing happened, like fell off from like getting a lot of momentum, and Charlie Kirk, it's kind of still like oversaturated. People are just showing the same shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, I see it already. Detective Maury's bitch ass.
I threw my back out. Is it in your mom?
Yeah, I know.
It takes me back to the day. Anyways.
Hey, mods, he's good for one a night. Okay,
that's it. One.
You're out of here. Yeah, in the spirit of baseball. No, that's hilarious.
But no, it's a good topic. It's a good topic to get into, really. I mean, but
God, now you got my wife mad, Detective Maury. It's my mother-in-law. You don't talk like that.
I love those jokes. I'm like a child. I've got a child's mentality.
Oh, all right. Let's see if we can get through this. Hold on. What the fuck kind of cup is that? Lift that up.
What?
Lift up your gallon coffee mug right now.
I guess lift up what?
Lift your Jesus.
Yeah, this ain't coffee, bitch.
Salad bowl as a coffee cup.
Yeah, I like big mugs and I cannot lie. So it's good.
All right. So back to our very serious point of conversation.
Yeah.
You were saying.
What was I saying? I was just saying your conversation topic was good about suppression and things like this. You might have to elaborate a little bit for me to really go fully with you, but I think you're nailing a good topic, because I think we see a lot of what I would call controlled narrative in our mainstream media, especially in any of our cases. I'm getting irritated. I'm getting so irritated at the controlled narratives that come out in every single case nowadays, and it's just it's annoying. And the whole sealing of documents, we're in a mess because of Idaho 4 with the sealing of documents. And even when they redacted, or even when they unsealed stuff, it was still redacted. And then the judge had to come out and say, that's not in the spirit of unredacting or unsealing things when you leave everything redacted. So now we're wasting more time unsealing and unredacting more stuff. And it's like, for frick's sake, if you just didn't have to hide everything and control the narrative from day one, we wouldn't be in this mess that we're in now. But
well, you know what? That's actually a good point. And when did that start? So like what age would you say did you kind of, but I don't want to say like wake up because this isn't a red pill question. This isn't like the red pill moment, but I'm saying, do you ever remember hearing like your parents or your grandparents talking about narrative? I feel like narrative has become almost kind of equatable to like a buzzword, right?
Yeah.
Like, was there a switch that got flipped, or some situation that you can remember in your childhood where you're like, this is different?
I mean, not to bring out the fucking old age shit, Bertie, but yeah, when back in the day, right, Americans trusted their news anchors, and when they turned on the news, they generally wanted to get they believed, I won't even name the names because it'll make me look old, but they would trust the news anchors that delivered the news, that they were getting the truth. And somewhere along the line in my generation growing up, that changed. And now people are waking up to the idea that the media is controlled, that you have to pick which spin you want. So and again, by the way, this happened. Okay, in my perspective, this happened when Fox News came out. And I'm not conservative or liberal. Okay. I'm not conservative or liberal. But when Fox News came out, what was their big slogan? I don't know if you remember, but their slogan was fair and balanced. And what they really meant by fair and balanced wasn't that they were delivering fair and balanced news. That's the tricky part. It wasn't that they were delivering fair and balanced news. What they said was media is all liberal. So we're going to counter with completely conservative viewpoints because that'll balance out the liberal media. But it wasn't fair and balanced because nobody's delivering the news fair and balanced. What they do is they'll even on Fox, they even had the balls to have the no spin zone. No spin my ass. It was all conservative spin. But at some point, America has started to realize that you get the same news story. And if you watch it on CNN or you watch it on Fox, it's spun completely different. And that's where I think people started to wake up to the idea that this is all a narrative. Like the news isn't the news anymore. It's the narrative that you want to paint on the news. Okay, soapbox over. Rand.
No. I think you actually just nailed that question for just coming up with that off the top of your head. That makes a lot of sense. And from when I hear that, when I hear you say their whole pitch was fair and balanced, right? Okay, to me, I would guess already back then, the shareholders, something they're probably all over like the same umbrella company that owns all of them at that point, right? If not, they're on their way to doing so. So maybe they're like, well, they only would probably bring out Fox News if they did kind of feel a little bit like, hey, we're missing a part of the market, or this narrative around if news was liberal is gaining traction, whatever it is. They did this, and it's very obvious to see. I'm going somewhere, or I'm going to go somewhere with this, which is these big corporations are elite at tapping into how people have their own worldviews and what they need to say to get their fan bases very loyal. And when you have a worldview and you see something like a Fox News come out of the blue, or you had something like, CNN before, you tap into your own worldview. You are watching the reflection of your own thoughts, and it makes you feel good. It makes you feel like there's something right about that.
I have to say, one of my favorite sayings, and it's 100% true. People don't want to hear your opinion. What they want to hear is their own opinion coming out of your mouth.
Oh, yeah. Say that again.
And yeah, so people do not want to hear, they don't want to hear your opinion. They don't dial in to see what Devil's Advocate's opinion is or what Birdie's opinion is. They don't dial in to see that. What they want to hear is their own opinion coming out of our mouth. And that's what people really want nowadays. And that's why they sign into the TV show that tells them what they already believe. And they're like, amen, brother, preach it. Because they don't want to hear, really at the end of the day, a lot of people don't want to hear an alternate viewpoint. What they want to hear is what they already believe coming out of your mouth because you say it better than they do. And that's an unfortunate thing because it makes you check out and you're just like, you know what? If you want to know what I believe, go talk to him. And I used to have that problem with, well, I'm not going to go on a side tangent because it'll get too weird. But the point being is that I've had people.
I think you should.
Well, all I was going to bring up is I've had people, for example, I don't want to offend a population, but in the religious circles when I grew up, I told you I was really heavy into the Bible. I would have people who would get in a discussion with me about the Bible. And when they started to realize they can't hang with me on my level, they would send their preacher or their elder to me and say, well, I'll have my elder come tell you. And I'm like, if you don't know what you believe to the point that you have to send somebody else to tell me what you believe, then you don't believe what you believe. And that's what I was trying to explain to them. It's like, look, if you have to send somebody else to me to tell me what you believe, then you don't believe what you believe. You're just parroting somebody else's words.
Well, you see it with everything. You see it with almost every argument. It doesn't matter if it's about, a quote divisive topic. It could just be, you see it. It's almost human nature, actually, because think about this. It's kind of, as you were saying that, well, my dad could beat up your dad instead of just the two kids fighting. It's like this human nature of like, well, I believe this and I don't know it that well to argue my belief, but I know somebody that does, and they can argue it for me.
Right.
That applies to everything almost.
It does. And it's sad because on the one hand, I don't want to alienate people who follow, my channel, for example, and say, hey, DA, can you explain to somebody this kind of thing? But then I think to myself, what I'd rather do is teach you. Because again, here's another saying, I'm full of wisdom tonight, right? If give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, teach a man to fish and you feed him for life. I'd rather teach you how to think critically so you can defend yourself and not just have to say, hey, DA, can you explain this to this person? So,
it's like the Socratic questioning method as well, right?
Yeah.
In a way where you're going to ask almost leading open questions to have somebody come to the conclusion on their own, and they're coming to that conclusion by learning. It's a very effective sales method when you're trying to get somebody to realize that they have a problem and there's a need for your product to come in and fix that problem, and you be the solution. However, this happens to us as consumers. And so where I was going with, again, the theme that I was texting you about being, the comparative suppression, I want to drill into this, not just regarding the news. I'm at the point where I believe a lot of people, at least in my own personal life, and I don't think it's just because I'm having this conversation, I think more people than not are awake to propaganda. They're awake to narratives. What's really shackling them to still being divided is they've dug their heels in, or it's the worldview. They've either crossed that line in the sand where there's like, I can't easily come back, and if I do, I'm going to lose friends or family or whatever it is, no matter what the topic, or it makes themselves feel uncomfortable, right? Some sort of internal guilt, which with you and that religion aspect, I feel like that's a big thing too in the religious world. Is like I think it's deemed like Catholic guilt is a term that I've heard a lot from people, or just in general. But I don't think it just applies to religion. I think there's this internal guilt as well that a lot of people feel for going against something they used to believe.
That's the thing. Like, I don't want to get super philosophical, but maybe I've been having too much cups of not coffee.
Your swimming pool coffee cup.
Right. I like big mugs, and I cannot lie. The point being is that we as people are, to be fair, are kind of a herd mentality. We want to be accepted. And the feeling of being rejected by people because we don't fit in, we're no longer part of the crowd, is enormous. So people, one, they look for their people and they want to be accepted by the people. And the biggest form of control is people when they feel like they're going to lose acceptance. That's it's very hard to be your own man or woman in this world, because as soon as you realize that you are not accepted by the tribe anymore, you self-correct. And you go along with the group think, because that's what we are. We're social creatures. We want to be accepted. We don't want to be kicked out of the tribe and live on ourselves on an island while everybody else is in the tribe together.
Well, and so what would you say? Have you had something recently that you've changed your mind on that you're comfortable with, like, sharing? Something that made you feel uncomfortable recently?
I mean, not recently. So. My whole life has been about discovering things and undoing lifelong learning. So, I mean, I'm on a continual path of that, but I can't think of what recently has changed. I mean,
let's see what people in the Hive say. I'll put some up on screen. I'm sure there are people. I mean, and it could just be as simple as like, oh, Brian Koberger, I thought he was guilty, and then I found the Hive.
I've had, and those are great moments, by the way, when people do that, when they're like, hey, I thought this was an open and shut case, and then I saw some video you made and now I'm questioning it. Like, one of the best moments in my life is when people do that. Like, I thought this was a slam dunk, and now I'm like, I'm not so sure I thought that through. So,
and you know what, Caleb, you brought up a good point here, saying like, you always felt like you're the outcast, you were never accepted since birth, so you like going against the grain. I've always said, having a chip on your shoulder, if you can take that energy and use it in the right way, it's one of the most powerful motivators of all time. When it doesn't become ugly, I'll show you, and it stays internalized in a healthy way of being pushed by it. I think that it's one of the most powerful motivators. And it keeps you disciplined. Let's see what people are saying here. So Catalina says, I admit I thought BK was guilty and could not listen to podcasts that said he was innocent. Can I ask you why, just in a sentence or two, or if there's anybody else that kind of felt the same way that Catalina did? It's the Catalina wine mixer. And now she's like, all right, I'm scrolling out.
Catalina. All right, sorry.
Yeah. 9/11 red pilled you.
Oh gosh, 9/11 red pilled a lot of people.
COVID red pilled a lot of people. I think.
Yes, it did.
I think 2008 red pilled a lot of people too with the market.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, yeah, it depends on how old you are. The banking collapse, the housing collapse was a red pill for a lot of people too. Banks that are too big to fail, golden parachutes for everybody in the banking industry.
What up, Tina? This is the Hive Mind. So this is a place for people to come and freely discuss anything
How
that
the
they
hell?
want.
Oh, sorry. I just saw somebody said that they found me from looking at following Sammy T and Phoenix. I'm like, how the hell did they get there? But I guess I can see that, right? Because they've both been on your show and then you're on my show. And so anyways, the algorithm is interesting how it serves things out. But.
Oh, no, you're good. Just to finish that point to Tina, if you're live right now, what this is it's a nightly stream at 7 p.m. Central. We dive into, this is a contrarian thinking live stream, essentially. So it's, whether it's high profile crimes, some fringe conspiracies with receipts, it's narrative warfare, essentially, seeing through the mainstream, I guess, lies, to put it bluntly, kind of seeing through what is the bigger narrative that people are trying to accomplish at these giant mega corporations to keep people divided. And this is a place where you have people who have all different sorts of beliefs, and we encourage the open dialogue. And the chat is a part of every stream. So here's one thing that I can say that I've changed my mind on. And that is, like, I've always been somebody who when I say I never ask for help, let me finish this point. I'm completely okay with asking for help when I desperately need it, but I've been trying to be proactive about, like, not taking on, too much beforehand, and especially now with Mrs. Birdie being pregnant and stuff, I'm trying to really get my schedule dialed in. And I used to think to myself, I'm never gonna feel that pressure to do so. I'll always be able to figure it out. And something, like, immediately changed where I'm like, I need to get, like, something has to change in my schedule. Like, I need to actually do every day the exact same way. Otherwise, my entire day gets ruined. And it's weird. It's not like I'm in a bad mood ruined. It's just like I get so thrown off. You know what I mean? I don't know if you have that. I don't know if it's because,
dude, I don't want to bother people too much, but I'm struggling with the same exact thing. And here's the thing: when I started doing YouTube, I realized I'm doing what I enjoy doing. And then just recently, as the channel's grown a lot, I'm like, fuck, there's not enough hours in the day. I'm going to have to come up with a schedule, and I'm going to need to get up at a certain time of day. And I'm going to need to make sure my research is done by a certain time and a video is cut by a certain time. And I'm like, now I've got a job. Now all of a sudden I've got a job. What used to be fun, actually, it still is fun. Don't get me wrong. This is still fun. But I feel like I can relate to you in the sense that as the channel has grown and I'm like, now I'm like, how do I get control of my life? Because literally, and I don't want to alienate anybody, because I'm here, by the way, I am here to interact with people. All I want in life is to have more deeper connections with people. That's what I'm about. And that's what this whole thing is about, is to have deeper connections. So I don't want to just pitch things to people who I don't have personal relationships with. I'm looking for personal relationships. But the point being is, now, however, I kid you not, my phone rings off the hook. All day long, I'm on calls. People who are calling me and saying, hey, can we talk a minute about this? Can we talk a minute about that? And my wife's like, what the hell's going on? You're busier than you've ever been working a job. And I'm like, yeah, like nonstop. Like I got to go take this call real quick. So-and-so's calling me. I got to go take this call. And it's crazy how my life's gotten out of control. And I kind of have to figure out how to work that schedule, like you're talking about, and get into a routine where I have a life. I mean, I love my life, but I also feel what you're saying. You have to get some structure and some pattern down. So.
Yeah, and maybe I should clarify. It's not that I don't, and not that people care this, but here's something that I've learned that's really helped me with controlling stress in my life. I try to genuinely never get stressed about work, even at before any of this, even in school. I never got stressed about it, because I would never allow a job to prevent me from doing things that I feel make me the best version of myself. So, for example, I'll never prevent working a long shift from, this is dumb, but it's like, from going from the gym, or if staying hydrated. That sounds so weird. I will go out of my way to make sure that I have water throughout the day, so that I'm not, like, running around and I don't have time to find water, and then I'm dehydrated, and then I'm tired, and then I get a headache. Like, I do all those little things, but now, it's just, I'm just trying to plan ahead for it. And I did see a couple of interesting comments too, for people that, as we were talking, DA, there's a couple people that have said, like, politics has changed, and not going to the other side. It's just, they're seeing through the illusion. They're seeing through the illusion. I got to say, it must be, well, because here's the thing. Everybody says, what are your politics? Doesn't that seem a little bit mainstream? Like, very mainstream? Like, they call it politics. And politics have morphed with people's personal beliefs, right? So I think like political and all that stuff originally would have had a different lane. Does that make sense, DA? And,
Yeah, for sure.
And now they've done this where it's almost like the line is drawn in what, again, a natural line would be, just like I talked about with little kids, how they have that nature of like, my dad will beat up your dad. And there's this argument of beliefs. They have that line drawn between both parties where, oh, you're going to have to pick a team, you know, which is just stupid. Like I've said this, and I think I said it to you last time. I'm like, whether you're right wing or you're left wing, you're on the same bird that is nosediving into Satan's ass crack, literally full speed ahead.
Here's the thing. I feel like maybe I've had too many cups of coffee, but the point being is that here's the thing. We are lazy. Oh my gosh, I'm getting philosophical again. We are lazy as a people, and so we want to be able to put people in a box very quickly because it makes shortcuts. So if I'm talking to you and a political subject comes up, I will ask, are you Republican or Democrat? And what sucks about that question is it's like, I want to check out and know what you really think by just putting you in a box. If you're Republican, oh, so you think this and this and this and this, because you must think exactly like all Republicans. The fact that we've gotten to the point where we want to put somebody in a box and say, what political affiliation you are. Now I know everything about you. No, if you want to know about me, sit down and have a freaking conversation with me. Ask me on every topic, because my view of immigration might be different than religion, might be different than whatever. So I might not toe the party line. And so I feel like we've gotten lazy in America, where we want to be able to put a label on somebody so we can go, oh, quickly. Now that I have that label, I know exactly what you think. No, you don't freaking know what I think. Sit down and have a conversation with me. Get to know me as a human being. All right, rant over again.
That's like what I would say, or put out a TikTok. I think that Brian Koberger might be getting framed. They apparently know everything about me. I'm just some huge douchebag then, because they disagree with that.
But right. And so now they know everything about you. Yeah.
I agree. I think there's strength in being okay with people thinking that. There's strength in people, or there's strength when you are mentally able to accept what you just said. These people don't know me. They don't know me at all. I have an opinion on something, just like people here in the Hive have an opinion on something. And again, without getting too philosophical, what we were just talking about with people changing their minds and having a place for the Hive to be somewhere that people can look forward to each night to tune in. I got this alert on Discord today, and I just want to read this because this was pretty powerful and just cool. And let me find it. Of course. Here we go. All right. So this comes from Freedom is Real. And they said, I'm new to Discord. Actually, you know what I'll do? Let me. Oh, shit.
Ooh. I hope my mods need to shut down that spammer on my channel. Sorry about that. I got a spammer on my channel.
Come on.
I think they already shut him down, though. Good for you, good for my mods, by the way. Thank you so much. Hey, right. By the way, can you take me off camera for a second so I can go refill my coffee mug?
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. All right, so real quick, I just want to read this. So this comes from the Discord. This comes from Freedom is Real. They said, and this came from this morning, 8:30 in the morning today. So I am new to Discord, so this being my first post ever, I wanted to express my gratitude to everyone in the Hive. You all have kept me going over the last 14 weeks after I had an accident that left me unable to walk properly or use either of my hands. I broke my left knee, left wrist, and right hand. I couldn't type much in any of the feeds as it was too painful, but now praise God for giving us bodies that can heal. I'm able to do so much more. Over the last 14 weeks, you all have given me something to look forward to every day. You've made me laugh and given me many things to think about with theories and strange facts, and it's been a joy to see Birdie in a smiley face every day while I felt like crap and been recovering. I love to see the art that the Hive puts out, and although being a designer myself, I'm nowhere in the heights of you all. I adore bees and actually have my own honey beehive and love to decorate the Hive and honey pots every year with my own designs. I'm looking forward to joining in a live one day soon and being in the chat, but we'll wait until I can type quicker. A huge congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Birdie for the amazing news of a new baby. May God bless you all for being a lifeline to me. Love, Freedom. I just, that is just such a, you know, I've gotten a handful of those, and it's just, it's so cool. And it's, I've said this. This might be I might be the host, but this is not a one-man stream. Everybody in this chat is what makes this. And I love getting on the computer at 7 p.m. Central every night and coming to hang out with you guys for stuff like that. Stuff that I have no idea. When I'm out here honking the clown horn, or I'm, going off about how Othram and IGG is going to be the end of any freedom that we have left as we know it. It's just interesting to sit back and read that now, that all of that led to somebody feeling that type of way. So freedom is real. I hope that you're continuing to recover. And for anybody else that, is recovering or healing, continued speediness on those. So anyways, I just thought that was really, really interesting. And DA is back from getting more booze in his coffee. Just kidding.
Speaking of that, I have a million stories. I digress. By the way, that was a beautiful letter, by the way, that you read. That was awesome. Very, very cool. But no, just as a quick aside, because sometimes you and I like to tell these stories. When I was in high school, I got introduced to alcohol, and I spent a little bit of it. And I'm not an alcoholic, by the way. Let me get that clear. I'm not an alcoholic at all, not even close. But in high school, I may have drank a little bit more than I should have. And we had a class, and it was known that the teacher always had a cup of coffee spiked with bourbon. And that guy was hammered on every class. Oh yeah. He was hammered in class, and we all knew it. And then anyways, at lunchtime, I would come back for his philosophy class. Best class ever. I'm going to wrap up the story. Best class. So we came in with a 44 ounce from 7-Eleven, just filled with Jack Daniels, about half Jack Daniels and about half Coke. And we spilled it. And that whole classroom smelled like alcohol. It was the most horrendous thing. And the teacher walked by with this coffee mug. I'll never forget it. Sipping his coffee. And he turns as he walks past the puddle, and he's like, "So, anybody else got a question?" And he's like standing as we're cleaning up the puddle. And I was like, this is enabling the shit out of us, because we were like high school kids hammered off our ass. And anyways, and I just remember when you said a coffee mug filled with booze, I had to go to the story of my guy that did the whole drinking bourbon in his coffee during class. And by the time the midday came, that guy was trashed.
See, dude, I feel like I can't even wrap my head around that happening today. Maybe it does.
It doesn't probably happen today. I don't know.
I just feel like it would be so obvious. And I mean, I just saw Crown said that as well. Somebody said they used to put some in their sweet teacup from McDonald's. Who type of one of you had a teacher that drank on the job? See, this is giving all of the people ammo that do think that we're out of our minds crazy for believing Brian Koberger might be innocent. They're going to be like, yeah, because you guys had drunk teachers. You guys are dumbasses. That's what I feel like they're all thinking right now. Oh my God. This is concerning. Are you seeing this?
I do. Here's the thing. Yeah.
I am shocked. This is an epidemic. Okay.
It happens more than you think, obviously.
Wow. Holy shit. What were you going to say? Yeah, I'm sorry. I just can't believe that.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, to be fair, I was gonna make some comment about a philosophy teacher.
Sorry,
like when
somebody
when
said
you're
it was
drinking,
their bus driver.
that's probably not a good thing. I'm just gonna go out on a limb.
Oh my God. That's why they probably have like the check your bus for kids before you drive home.
I have stories about a bus driver, a friend of mine, but I got to hold that for another night too.
Why? Let it all out. You should know by now that the Hive loves your stories. I love your stories.
There's not much of a story other than he was a bus driver. I think he was probably in his 30s at the time. And some high school girl had a crush on the bus driver and sent him a dirty note. And he reported her to the school, and she got in big trouble for it. And I was thinking, how would I have handled that as a man? Like right? Because like it's a dilemma, because it's not appropriate. But by the same token, you turn somebody in and you ruin. Well, I don't know that you ruin their life, but how embarrassing for that person. Anyways, that's all it was. That's why I said I was going to hold back on the story. It's like, really, it's not appropriate. But yeah. I just remember him saying, like, I turned her in, and I'm like, why not just ignore the letter? You had to turn her in. But anyways, it was weird.
See, that's like one of those situations where now with just seeing how many of those stories, and in general, but I'm saying now, even anything that looks slightly like it,
Yeah.
I feel like if I was a teacher and that would, I'd be pissed that it even looked like the most minuscule amount. You know what I mean? Like that's got to be the most uncomfortable thing, because let's say you are a male teacher and you're teaching, you know, whatever, females that are younger. Like, that's got to be one of those things. I don't know. That would be the worst position to be in general. And then
we're certainly off topic. We are certainly off topic. We should probably get back on topic.
What was our topic?
Shit, I don't know. I feel like it's a Friday night. Our topic was
take a deep breath. Smell the Baileys. Smell the Baileys in the coffee.
After the live with you last time I did the call-in show. After that live, I thought, you know what? I'm not going on Birdie's show unless I have a couple cups of coffee, because that guy's gonna make me go outside my wheelhouse, and he's gonna be like, "Yeah, say something," and I'm like, "Dude, I don't know what to say right now. You just put me on the spot in front of a bunch of people. Yeah, I need to have a drink for that."
I don't know if you were, when you got done being on camera, if you saw one was encouraging me to shotgun a seltzer, and I did, and then it got to the point where I'm playing videos about Cactus Body Slam and the Crazy Hot Matrix videos. Quickly, I was like, all right, this might have to be where we call it a night.
You know what's funny about that? This is hilarious. What's funny about that is because you and I kind of developed a friendship. I almost wanted to be like, Birdie, get off the camera, shut it down. But I was like, no, he's a grown man.
And you know what? Here's the thing too. This is an after dark stream. You know, worst case scenario, I just delete it. Like, you know what I mean? I just throw the whole thing away. But no, I mean, look, I want to come on here. I want to have fun. And, you know, it is what it is. I think it was fun. I have zero regrets. No regrets.
There's nothing wrong having some fun and letting loose a little bit.
Yeah. You know, if I'm going to sit in front of my computer for 4 hours, I got to find ways to entertain myself, and shotgunning ice cold seltzers seemed to sound like a good idea at the time. So, but anyways, yeah, man, I just want to say too, the after dark type streams, what I like about those, and especially on like a Friday night, is because I feel like there's this energy in the Hive where, not that tuning in is doing nothing, not that doing this stream is doing nothing, but it hits different on a Friday night, to your point. Like, it turns doing nothing, being staying at home, into something, right? You're engaged in it and it's fun. And, you know, oddly enough, that's actually why that was my excuse in college that I wouldn't stop smoking pot, was because I would say, oh, it turns doing nothing into something, you know, and that was really kind of back to even before like the cartridges. Like, we would actually sit there with like the flour and put it in the grinder and all that. And, you know, but it's past life.
Yeah.
Past life now. I'm not even vaping. So
how's that going? Is that still going well?
It's going phenomenal.
That's amazing.
I feel great, man. I feel really good.
Amazing.
And like I said, the hardest part was just not putting something up to my mouth as I was streaming. I didn't realize how often I would hit that on camera until I stopped.
Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, according to Freud. Anyways, that's a
mean?
whole. Well, Freud had a theory about phallic-sized objects that go into your mouth all the time. So sometimes somebody asked him, like, you know, you think everything is just a phallic symbol. What about the fact that you smoke cigars all the time? And he said, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. So anyways, when you were talking about putting something in your mouth, I just went there with Freud, because I was a student of psychology in college. That probably went over everyone's head that isn't into psychology. If you're into psychology, you probably heard the famous story about Freud and the whole phallic symbol. Like, he would say, for example, I digress, but he would say, if you wore a tie, it was a phallic symbol. You were the tie was to point down to your crotch to let people look, because you wanted to, like, it was everything with him was about, you had obsessions with your mother. You really wanted to sleep with your mother. Everything was sexual.
Dude, yeah, no,
Freudian slips, right?
I know that. I thought he said the cigar thing.
Yes. So somebody asked him, they're like, because he kept putting a cigar in his mouth, and like, well, for somebody who thinks everything is a phallic symbol, what about the fact that you keep sticking a big old cigar in your mouth? And he's like, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar.
Yeah.
Which was funny.
That is funny.
I find it funny.
That is funny. But you know what else is funny, DA? Is that at this point, I feel like the gloves are kind of off as far as sticking to a topic. Anybody who has ADD is probably very much so enjoying this. I certainly am. Very overstimulated in the best way possible right now. And DA, why don't you and I figure out a way how to maybe course correct, or do we just lean in for the rest of the stream and just go off the rails like we've been doing the rest of it. Because personally, I had the, again, the suppression of all things. You could apply that to almost anything. We kind of talked about that point. I wanted to, I also wanted to ask you, as far as, like, again, this is going to totally shift the conversation, but you said you were going to New York, right?
Yeah.
Coming up. That's for
Yes.
the list case.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We talk about that. But I kind of also, at the same time, I want to hear more about your drunk teachers in high school and other things like that. And how you call everything you put in your mouth a cigar or whatever you said.
Yeah, see, the only, you're right. Like, I don't know whether
people are saying off the rails. Off the rails. That's what Monday nights are for.
There's a certain number of people who will like hearing us go off the rails and tell stories that have nothing whatsoever to do with our true crime stories. Other people are like, what the hell are you guys talking about? You're wasting my time. So, I don't know how to feel about it. I mean, it's your show. I'm on your show as a guest. Of course, I'm broadcasting on my side as well, so I have to watch out for that. But I'm following your lead, sir.
Well, I know that the Hive and DA, I would say this. We've been streaming together now for how long? This has got to be a little bit expected. And also
2 or 3 months.
Yeah. 2 or 3 months. And it's like, look, I want to come on here and I want to have real conversations with real people. Okay.
I can't read your comments. Anyways, it's all
why?
good.
What are they saying now?
Never mind.
Say it. Say it.
Some woman said, I love cigars in my mouth. Just saying.
Hey, Discord Dawn gave me this suggestion. So the first time that I'm going to use this, Hive, let DA have it with whatever you think he needs to see in the chat right now, and I'll put them on screen. And Dawn gave me this idea for this noise. Let him have it, Hive. Let him have it. Oh, wait. I thought it was supposed to loop.
Oh. Everybody loop it now? All right, so let's try. Let's try to get back.
I'm going to enjoy this for a second. Now it's looping. Take old bitties in your mouth, DA.
Take old Betty. God, why does that make me laugh every time? Why does that make me like I'm a child? Why do I laugh about Tiggle Bitties?
I already know too. I'll turn this buzzing thing off. I know it's probably driving
Speaking of the Tiggle Bitties, okay. Speaking of the Tiggle Bitties, one of my favorite T-shirts. One of my favorite T-shirts was a T-shirt. Saw it on a woman. Two of my favorite T-shirts. It had somebody holding 2 kittens, and it said, "Show me your kitties," which I thought was hilarious. And then the one if you're a D&D fan, because I grew up playing Dungeons and Dragons. We talked about this before on the show. And the one that had, I've talked before about how I played Dungeons and Dragons back in the day. But anyways, the point being is that a women's T-shirt that also had like 2 20-sided dice that are on the number 20, and it says, "Yes, they're both natural." I love that as well, because if you play D&D, rolling a natural 20 means something. So anyways, it's hilarious. I'm a child. For fuck's sake, let's get back
you're
on
distracting yourself from the Tiggle Bitties. You're talking about Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
I was throughout your life.
I was a dungeon master. I ran the game. That game went wherever I wanted to go. Yeah, oh yeah.
Dungeon master.
I was the dungeon master. I'm the dungeon master, bitch.
DA, do you know what? Like, let's say you and I were with our wives, and we were like vacationing somewhere like a boardwalk, and they had those T-shirt shops. You know what I love about you is I could get you a T-shirt that says like FBI, and it could say female body inspector on the back, and it would be the best gift ever for you. And I don't know if you'd wear it. It's either one extreme or the other. Either you're going to end up wearing it the rest of the vacation to the point where it's like, God, when is this guy going to take this shirt off? He's worn it for 3 days. Or you'd be like, I'm not wearing that.
Okay. Are you ready? True story. You've heard of you've heard of the term MILF? Yeah. Okay. So for those who know,
would you be concerned if I hadn't?
Yes, I would be a little. I'd be a little concerned. So I'm on the beach. I'm at the coast. I'm in the Washington coast with my wife, and we're in a little shop that sells sweaters. And MILF is a term I know. And then I see a shirt, and it's got a picture of a nun, and it says NILF, NILF, nuns. I'd like, right? So my wife says, "Oh my God, this is so you." Now I bought that sweater, but I wore it for like a few minutes, and the horrified looks I got from people. Yeah, my social anxiety was like, I'm taking that shirt off, because people were like, "Oh my God, are you are you saying?"
I feel like you're right. There seems to be more actionable and reasonable steps to go from MILF to NILF.
It was
Perhaps-
it was my
perhaps
wife's
Gilf.
fault.
I don't
she
know.
thought it would be funny. Oh yeah, Gilf would be see, Gilf is so acceptable.
It's a good middle ground.
NILF, probably not.
NILF, you're going to hell. Yeah.
Right. Oh my God, this show is. We need to get back on true crime.
Why?
Because that's what I do. At the Devil's Advocates, we believe in the presumption of innocence until proven guilty in a court of law. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't we all? You know what? I believe that we're not going to start talking about true crime again regularly on this show until there's one stream that you just fully let it off, let it go.
You don't think I've come close?
No,
To
I want to see you get so drunk on an after hours stream that you're going tarps off. And we have to actually put you backstage at this point. We have to put you to timeout to sober up.
I'm taking, due to legal restrictions, we're taking DA off camera right now.
You just see the beep on your screen, like.
Yeah, that probably could happen. That could probably happen. Anyways,
nights like this are important. They're good for the soul, and yeah, that's how I feel about that.
Wow, it's amazing how many people remember the breakdancing conversation. I see breakdancing jokes all the time on this show, like, because remember I talked about breakdancing back in the day. I noticed a lot of people bring up the let's get DA to breakdance. Kind of like, wow, you guys remember the breakdancing conversation? I was like, a while ago.
Yeah, that was last week, 2 weeks ago, right?
Felt like it was a month ago, but yes, it probably was last week. All right, so what do we got, Bertie? You wanted to engage. Let's engage the audience. Let's engage the audience. Let's do this.
I have a feeling that if I engage this audience, there's going to be something that continues to happen.
Just keep the tickle bitties off the screen and we'll be good.
DAC's tickle bitties, you just
just take me off camera or I'll duck below my table.
Yeah, it was just a normal Monday night. Adrian 1984 wore parachute pants. That's epic.
I wore parachute pants too. I wore parachute pants as well. I thought they were the coolest thing ever at the time. I probably did not look so good in them, but I thought I looked good. So that was that.
I remember like playing basketball, like the breakaway sweatpants that were buttons up the side.
Yep. Yeah.
See,
you were the jock, right? You were the jock. You played sports, you played football, you played baseball. You were the jock. And to be fair, by the way, another story. Oh my God. Do we have permission to just completely go off the rails?
Yes.
So
you
here's
gotta
the thing.
apologize to nobody. You got to apologize to nobody. You're going to tell this story. It's going to be awesome.
In high school, I'm a social chameleon. I could be best friends with the quarterback on the football team and also best friends with the stoner, right? And when I was going to school, there were stoners and there was jocks, and that was the thing, right? So I threw a big party. I threw a big party, and one of my best friends was a stoner, big time stoner. And then another one of my good friends was like the entire offensive line. This one guy was the entire offensive line. It was a huge behemoth human being.
Just like a moose.
Oh yeah. And he came to my party, and both these guys are at my party. Well, unfortunately, my friends in the multiple social circles didn't understand that I had friends in multiple social circles. So he was like, "What the fuck are you doing here? You don't belong here." And he punched him in the fucking nose in my house. And then I had to like do this whole like, dude, this is my friend too. And like, anyways, so it's an occupational hazard to be a social guy like me who can get along with a jock like you, but also a stoner like half the people in this audience right now. And then when the two worlds collide, it's like two tribes go to war. It's bad because they don't necessarily mix, but I mix with everybody. So
no, anyway. I do too. Honestly, I'm friends with a lot of different type of people. Yeah. You talked about breaking somebody's nose. I actually, unfortunately, did break somebody's nose on a complete accident at the worst possible time that I could have done so. So I had we have a family friend. He's like 8 years older than us. And when he was in college, his like summer job was to do like youth coaching, like an assistant coach. And so him and my dad became good buddies, because he coached for like 3 or 4 years with him. And he's older, like 8 years older than us. But as we all got, into college, we all stayed friends. So I had just graduated college, or I'm sorry, I just graduated high school rather. Okay, so I'm coming off playing high school football. Okay, I'm 18 or 19 years old, and I get invited to go to a bachelor party up in Green Bay at the Packers Stadium to do a tour, to go out. Funny enough, this guy was a cop, and we used fake IDs with him, which I just thought was hilarious. Like to get into the bars, like we're with police officers, and they were letting us. I won't say this guy's name, but I just thought it was just mind blowing that like we didn't expect that, and they were like, "Yeah, bring your fakes, whatever." Well, what are they going to do? Call the cops? Like it was the joke of the night. It was hilarious.
What do you do? Call the cops?
So, dude, we have a night on like, I think so. Their wedding was Saturday, so we had a night on Friday night or Thursday night, whatever it was. It's like a day or two before the wedding, and he rented out this. I don't even know what it is. It's not like a practice field, but there's like a baseball field that in the outfield, he somehow rented out like the county park where the stadium's in the background, and he got somebody to like stripe it with like lines and stuff for flag football that morning. Cause there's like 15, 16 guys do like 7-on-7. Okay. Well, we were already drinking a little bit. We're like, we don't need the flags. Like all of us young guys were like, we don't need flags. Like, dude, we're coming off like our senior year. Okay, like there's snow on the ground, and it's going to be a good time. Yeah. So, dude, I catch a pass. I'm running, towards the sideline, and just instinctively, dude, I stiff armed this guy so hard in his nose. It's the best, man. I broke.
Oh, this thing you broke his nose?
Yeah, I broke his nose. I felt terrible. Pretty much ruined the entire morning, accidentally, and I still feel terrible about that to this day. And yeah, everybody was mad at me. I mean, it was so bad, dude. It was such an accident too. But,
that's a horrendous story. I headbutted a girl when I was in school in soccer. I knocked her unconscious. We were both going up because I'm playing soccer. You know how you see on TV where people go jump up in the air and they headbutt the ball to knock it, right? I thought that'd be a cool thing. Well, me and the girl went up at the same time to headbutt, and I headbutted her and knocked her unconscious. I got suspended, I think, for that. So that's one of my stories from sports. I was not good in sports, and when I knocked out a girl, I think for headbutting her, that was like, dude, you play too hard. I'm like, okay, well, I'll just back.
Did you ever get suspended in school or expelled?
I got suspended multiple times in school. Yeah.
What for?
One, because I was going to a church school.
I'm sorry. I know I just asked you that, but I'm like, just telling a story. I'm like, yeah, I accidentally stiff armed, one of my buddy's best bands. You're like, I headbutted a girl and I knocked her unconscious. Like,
you got nothing. You got nothing.
Yeah, take that, Bertie. Shit's weak. What are you talking about? I knocked some chick out.
I got kicked out of church school because I watched American Werewolf in London, and there was this is such an after dark show thing. There was a sex scene in American Werewolf in London where a chick got banged in a shower against the glass wall, and I told everybody about it, and I got kicked out of church school for that. That was one of the times I got kicked out of school for talking about that. I got kicked out of school for fighting. The only time in my life I've been punched in the face. I swear to God, to my defense, I swear to God, I was getting, after I got past the shock, I was getting ready to fight back. But the fight got stopped, so I never got to even throw a swing, and I got kicked out for fighting. And I'm like, but I didn't even fight. I never got to hit the guy. So there was that.
Let's see. What's the wildest thing in the Hive that somebody was suspended from high school from?
Oh, what a great question.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I never got suspended. I think I got like 2 detentions, which in my high school, dude, we had these things called BIP slips, where like if you had like a late assignment, or if you were in the hallway after the bell rang, if you got 3 or 4 of them, you ended up having to sit for lunch detention. That was all I ever got. I never got like suspended. DA was part of Fight Club. Donna says, I love that movie.
It was great. American Werewolf in London was a fantastic movie. Not so good for a church school, but it was a fantastic movie.
Matrix cussed out the teacher. Oh my God. See, this is why I love this stream, DA. So I'm going to use Matrix's comment, and then I'm going to go through what people are saying.
Oh, remind me, I've got a story to tell you about getting hacks in school.
Okay. This part. This is you as a kid, yeah. This part. Matrix. Have you seen this yet?
No.
Oh. I'm gonna pause right here. I just picture you right now, DA. You say that your mom kind of gives you a little smack. You're gonna smack me, bitch. I'm gonna go up there. I'm gonna practice my lines. I'm gonna run away with whatever.
I have
I'm in
stories.
America.
But yeah.
Yeah,
No.
dude,
Go
you
for
are
it.
gonna. If you haven't seen this, you are gonna. You're gonna piss yourself laughing, DA.
I'm going over my lines. I'm not.
This is you whenever you start talking conspiracies.
It does
No, not
come
today,
up.
y'all.
Right.
Now.
This part. This part.
Yeah.
I told you to take your
All right. Well, that was fun. That was fun.
my god.
DA, what would
Yeah.
you do if you heard somebody go up to a teacher
What?
Say,
What?
You what what'd you do? What?
Long titty.
I mean, if I ever witnessed somebody call a teacher over and or the teacher was talking to them, and they go, I just hear it out of the corner of my sight. I hear, you long titted, no nipple having ass. Like, I don't know what I would do.
Oh my God. I have so many stories, and it's not like nobody wants to hear all the stories, but I got so many
Are
stories.
you reading the chat? Everybody wants to hear your stories.
I've
Hive,
lived
type
a
of
life.
one. Show them you guys want to hear them. Let's do it.
Oh
I'll
my
type mine in
God.
there. Let's
That's
see
hilarious shit.
the
So,
ones.
you know, when I
want
was in church school, so I've always been a little
you see
fascinated
the chat?
by, yeah, I get
What'd you see? 69? Is that what you
Oh,
saw?
69. That's how you. Yeah, I laughed when I saw 69 because I'm a child. Anyway, when I was in church school, I think it was 7th grade. I was reading a book, a novel. I think it was called The SOBs, and it was like about a military group, like in Vietnam, and it had sexual scenes. It was like really raunchy. It was like a pulp fiction for adult males. It was all about violence, killing, and banging chicks. And anyways, there was a very graphic scene where a female military person was banged by somebody in her and so my teacher calls my parents in to an after school nighttime session. Hey, I want you guys to meet me at the school. Something very serious with your son, 7 o'clock at night at the school. We're all sitting there and he's like, your son brought this book to school. And they're like, oh shit. You know, and I'm like, I said, I want to read to you a passage of the kind of stuff that's in this book. My dad says to the guy, I know what kind of stuff's in that book. I'm an adult. I know what that book has in there. No. I want to read it to you. So my dad kept insisting, dude, I understand what's in an adult book. No, I want to read it. So he read passages, and my dad was like, are you getting an erection from this or what? Because like, well,
wow.
I literally don't need you to read. And he was reading a full passage of a sex scene. And my dad's like, are you having fun? Because like, I just told you, I know what's in that book.
So, why was he so adamant about reading that?
I don't know. My dad was like, I think you're getting more out of this than I am. Like, why do you feel compelled to have to read me the entire chapter of this book?
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Like you could have just left it at, there's a sex scene in the book and we would have been good.
You got to make it so uncomfortable. Be like, what are you getting off to this right now?
Right.
And
that's what he said.
To another guy. Like, what is it?
And to be fair, my parents were awesome. They stuck up I got in trouble several times. One time I got in trouble because, they tried to get my friend and I to turn against each other by lying and saying, well, your friend already told us you did something and he didn't. And so my parents like chewed the principal and said, if my son said he didn't do it, he didn't do it. Like, he's an honest guy. And if my son said he didn't do it, then he didn't do it. And so that was cool. But I was going to tell you one more story. In my day, in my church school, we had things called hacks. And if you got in trouble, like I did for organizing a book drop at like exactly 3 o'clock, everybody would shove their books off the table and everything would fall on the floor at the same time. And there'd be a massive uproar. I got sent to the principal's office. It was immediately like, how do you know? The teacher's like, Lee, to the office. Like, how the heck do you know that was me? But anyways, so I organized that, right? I go to the office, but there was a guy, super popular, 9th grade at the time. I was in a lower grade. And he got his hacks for doing something wrong, and they would bend you over a table, and they literally had a board with holes sawed through it so that it would whistle as it swings through the air to hit your ass. And you'd bend over, you'd pull your pants down, and they would full on. This thing would come in.
It's like a Nerf football. It's like a Nerf football back in the day where you throw it. It's like,
they don't do that shit, I don't think, anymore. It was brutal. It was brutal. So anyways, so they whacked him once. He held his composure. They whacked him again. He held his composure. Then he goes out after they're done because they had a rule, like a 2-hit rule about hitting him. So he goes out.
Jesus Christ.
I'll never forget this day. He goes out into the hall after getting hacked, and everyone in the school is on break and they're waiting. Everybody's reading his face. Oh my God, is he crying? Is he crying? Like, he's got to be in tears, right? And he comes out and he's all like all arms akimbo, like, no fucking problem. I just took it. And he goes, look, everybody, look at my ass. Pulls his pants down. He's got 2 softball-sized bruises on his ass, right? And they hauled him back in there and hit him so many times that he came out bawling. And by the way, shortly after that, they got shut down. That school got shut down for that. But that was one of my.
Serious?
Yeah, it was bad. They bruised him super, super bad, and they tried to make a point of it. But it was so. I'm telling some pretty brutal stories. But yeah, that was my childhood growing up.
See, I had I had a little bit different of an experience, not with getting paddled, but just an extremely uncomfortable conversation with parents, teachers, and so in 8th grade, our middle school would take a trip out to Washington, D.C., and it was like the big trip. Every 8th grader looked forward to it. And we had, chaperones or whatever, and all my best friends, like none of our parents were chaperoning. And we had like, again, 4 8th grade dudes to a room. Like we're living the high life, dude. We thought we were the shit. We had all of our, whatever, not Walkman, like CD players, actually. We had like CD cases of shit. Long story short, we get out, before we go to Washington, D.C., you could submit a paper. You could submit a paper to lay the wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier, which that's a big deal. Or not lay the tomb. Yeah, lay the wreath at the tomb. So
Yeah.
I submit a paper. Dude, I won.
Nice.
I got
Congratulations.
selected to lay the wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. So we go out to Washington, D.C., and that was like the first day. It was really cool. Then we went and did like the Smithsonian and all the other stuff. Well, then we go to whatever mall is out there. There's like a giant mall in DC. I don't remember the name of it. Okay. I should have never gotten in trouble for what I'm about to say next because I should have never been allowed to purchase this. Okay.
I love how you came out. I should have never gotten in trouble for what I'm about to say next.
There should be no reason that anybody like would have. I mean, maybe like I get it if you're trying to be funny. So there's a bookstore. And it's not like a Barnes and Noble. Like it's actually like a Barnes and Noble Spencer's combo. Okay, so there's like nudie mags and a bunch of other adult stuff amongst like graphic tees, but then there's also just like normal books. So me and my buddies, we go behind like the red tarp that they had to the adult section. We get back there. We were back there for like 20 minutes. Like there's 4 8th grade boys back here. Clearly, like we should not be back there.
Yeah.
So we proceed to buy a bunch of like nudies. And this guy at the counter didn't even blink twice for it. He just let us do it. So now we're on the bus back to the hotel. None of us can keep our mouths shut about it. We're just like, we're like looking like under the, like we're kind of like holding the, it underneath the seat. Like
Yeah.
one of my buddies like lifted up the centerfold or whatever. And now at this point, like every 8th grade boy is at the back of the bus surrounding our 2 seats. Very obvious what's happening. Okay. So oddly enough, like no teachers came back, and we get into our hotel room and whatever, we were just hanging out. And then all of a sudden we hear like, we know we were doing something wrong. We were a little bit sketched, like, oh, they're going to catch us. Make a long story short, when you know you're doing something wrong and like that happens, it kind of like makes you jump like, oh shit. Okay. So one of my buddies, oddly enough, his initials were BK. Funny. Or his name was Brian too. Holy shit. Oh my gosh. Wow. I just flashed from the past.
Nice.
He looks out this thing and he's like, dude, it's all the teachers. It's all the teachers. So,
We're so busted.
dude, we were like throwing these magazines underneath like the mattresses. It was like we were stashing drugs. Like that's what it felt like. Like we had to like start flushing these things. So anyways, we put them all underneath the mattresses. And for whatever reason, all the female teachers were the ones that came in to talk to us about it, which I feel like was a little bit weird. Not weird, but it was just like at the time for us, it felt really uncomfortable. Whatever. So they find it. Okay. At that point, that was the first day of the trip. Okay, this is a 5-day trip. Dude, we were like shunned. Our room was like shunned. Okay. Like we didn't get to go to dinner that night. Like we had to have like literally room service like dropped off outside our door, and they would put tape on our door so that if we opened it, they knew we'd leave. Okay. We were like being held prisoner and just eating chicken tenders. So the second day, like we had to apologize. My buddy Dan started like crying, like on the phone with his mom. Like he called his mom and told her, and I'm like, your mom better not tell my mom. She better not you better tell her like not to tell any of our parents, because I don't want to, get in trouble before I get home. So then we land. Okay. All of our parents are at the airport, bro. Okay. Which is not what it was supposed to be. We were supposed to take the bus back to school and get picked up at the school. So our teachers called our parents over a nudie mag to come pick us up from the airport. They had us walk with like not a security person because it wasn't a security reason, like an airport employee to this room, and they had us have a meeting. Okay, this girl teacher put on fucking latex gloves, and all of these playboys were in manila envelopes. Do you know how uncomfortable and unsettling it is to be sitting there with like 4 moms and 4 dads? Okay, the moms are mortified. The dads are kind of looking around like, what are we doing here, guys? You know? And so then we get back to school on Monday. My mom was so disappointed in me because I just laid the wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier only to have it soured by buying like a Playboy or a Max or whatever it was. And they announced that on the school PA too. They announced it, that there was purchases made of this and yada, 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 and they won't stand for it. And so that was a very long story, DA, but nonetheless.
It's a beautiful story. I will try to refrain from where my mind went during that story.
No,
it was
tell
great.
us. Tell us.
No.
Yes.
Inappropriate squirrel. By the way, I'm literally watching people just unsubscribe from my ass right now. They're just like,
why?
I'm just kidding.
Dude, who cares? You're fine. This is fun. This is fun. It's one night a week, like you say.
See, the latex gloves. That was it. Somebody just said it. Latex gloves. You talked about the latex gloves.
Well, and that whole time, my dad was just like, well, why were you guys not with them? Like my dad said that. He's like, why weren't you chaperoning them? Like, isn't that why you said you only needed so many chaperones? It was a small group, and yet, how did they buy it? Like, where did they go? Do you guys even know? And they're like, well, we gave them free time to go roam around. And my dad's like, what do you think they're gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, what do you think they're gonna go do?
God,
it was getting awkward. It was kind of getting heated because I remember all the parents were upset. Like, they just had to drive down to the city, go to the airport, then get presented a Playboy in a manila envelope with latex gloves on.
Every time I think latex gloves, I see Fight Club, freaking Brad Pitt slapping on the latex gloves, saying, "You want to finish her off?" But anyways, I just did you see that sign? That movie? Yeah, there was a moment with the latex gloves, but yeah,
that's hilarious.
We are not going to have any more stories to share because we're going to get them all done tonight. Apparently,
are you trying to rush out of here?
No, I'm good.
Sounds like it. Put you on the spot more then. Let's go. Yeah. Now you have 2 more stories to tell.
I lived a long life, sir. I've got a lot of stories. but there's only a certain number, there's only a certain kind of group of people that can handle those kind of stories.
I was a little bit of a dick as like a 6th through 8th grade kid. Like a menace for no reason.
Really?
Which at the time seemed harmless.
Like getting in fights and stuff, or just causing problems?
No, I haven't really ever been in that many fights, to be honest.
Yeah.
And no, just like things that I thought were harmless that now, like if I'm driving down the road and a water balloon or a snowball pelts my car, okay, like I'm gonna be pissed. I was terrorizing my neighborhood. Like I would have like different positions from trees to throw snowballs at cars by myself. I'd go on solo missions and I would just pelt cars with snowballs for hours.
The shit that I did as a kid, you just took me back to a story. My friend and I don't know why this was funny. It wasn't funny. It's not funny, but we decided to make a mannequin of like clothes and stuff it so that it looked like a human body and put it in the street and make fake blood and make it look like somebody got ran over kind of thing. And then we would sit there and scream as cars go by like somebody just got hit by a car. Why we thought that was funny at the time, I don't know. We did shit when I was younger that I'm embarrassed to say that I was a bit of a menace myself as well. But it was funny because I don't think I wasn't a bad boy. Like I was really straight laced, but then I think of the stories. So maybe dropping eggs off of bridges.
No. That just reminded me of this. When I said I was just a dick, okay, I like relapsed in like 9th grade. Like, okay, like it was like bad 6th grade.
You relapsed in 9th grade.
So I just got into high school. We moved from my child. Okay, so we moved from my childhood house from just kind of like a smaller subdivision. We moved into like the main subdivision in the town that I grew up. So all my buddies were there. And there was this giant hill by where we lived. It was like Mill Road Hill dude, it was the steepest. Like I don't even, and it was a back road hill. I don't even know how this was. Like if you had a truck or a trailer, you're not getting up it. That's how steep it is. Okay, like there's no lines painted on it. But it was a relatively busy road because during school hours, when all the traffic would be at the stoplights, you'd go that way. Okay, so this is like right around this time of year, and you know how they put those pumpkin like trailers out where you can go and it's like the honor system, and you put money in it and then you take a pumpkin.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not proud of this, but me and like 4 of my buddies, dude,
So I'm not proud of this.
again, this is what I'm saying. Like, if this happened to me, you would see me on the news for beating a bunch of high schooler kids' ass. Like, I would not let it go if this happened to me. And I just think back, I'm like, what were we thinking? So not only did we go grab these pumpkins, we grabbed the biggest pumpkins that we could find, and we rolled them down the hill at oncoming cars.
Oh my God, yes.
It was like a 25-mile-an-hour road. Like, it wasn't crazy. But dude,
dangerous.
We got so much joy out of this, of seeing the car stop and just start going backwards as fast as they can. But there's 4 pumpkins,
and you're laughing your ass off. That's the funniest shit ever. Oh my God.
I'm like pissing my pants, laughing, running away, just elated. And I'm like, what is wrong with me?
I get it. Like teenage boys or under teenage boys are broken. We're broken.
Yeah, we're broken. It just, I would hit golf balls. My dad came home one time, dude. I like I said, I was just a menace. So one time my dad let us mow the grass really, really short in part of our backyard to make like a little putting green. And he was like, you guys are only allowed to chip. He's like, if you're not going to putt, you can only chip. So you only use like the sand wedge. Okay. Dude, my dad runs to the store to get like hot ham and rolls. Okay. It's a beautiful Sunday. Okay. Me and my best friend, Joe, we go get the driver, DA. We don't just like, we just don't like, we go get,
you can't obey rules. You can use a chipper. Let's get a fucking driver. Dude, let's get a driver.
like the second my dad's truck turned the corner, we're like, let's go get the driver.
Of course.
So we're teeing up these balls. We are just, dude, we're letting these balls rip, not like into a neighborhood, but there's like a field, but there's houses, and it's like, they're just like, it's like more of a spread out neighborhood. So dude, we don't hear anything. Like, I'm like, there's no way that we are reaching anybody's houses. Okay. My poor father happens to get home at the same time where we must have, like, this must have been this gentleman who lives probably about 220 yards that way. This must have been his last straw, because my dad gets out of his car. He's all excited. He's got hot ham and rolls. The Packers are about to play. Like, it's going to be a great Sunday. And then here I am just ruining his Sunday.
Right.
Because and I saw the guy coming. So I like shuffle in. I saw my dad coming. I'm like, oh my God, dude. I'm like, we got to get downstairs. We got to, like, we turn on the Wii. We had Wii instead of like PlayStation. So we turn on Wii, and we're like pretending that we've been playing Wii the whole time. Well, my dad, he doesn't come inside like for like 20 minutes. And I know that he was pulling into the driveway, dude. So I know at this point we're cooked. We're so effed. Okay. So then I hear my dad walk down the stairs in the basement. I hear him stop walking. I hear him take a deep breath, like just like to calm himself down.
I'm trying to not beat your ass.
Yeah, dude. So he goes, boys, do you want to tell me why when I just got out of my truck here, I have a guy who is jogging towards me, yelling at me, saying, hey, Titleist. He's like calling my dad by the name of the brand of the golf balls that we were hitting. Okay. We hit the hood of his truck that was parked.
Oh, shit. Oh,
so,
shit.
Yeah, my dad's like, so you guys are going to go walk over there and you're going to go apologize. And I was like crying. I'm like, I don't want to go. I'm scared. He's like, no, you're going. And he's like, and I'm not going to go with you. He's like, I'm not going to go with you. So, yeah, that was probably one of the worst, other than
it's probably a good thing that you and I didn't grow up together at the
We'd
same
be in
age,
jail.
because we probably would have been in jail. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
thinking so.
This is the last story. Promise.
Don't promise. Don't
So
promise.
my mom was going through nursing school when I was right in this window of hell, pretty much. Or I was making my parents' life hell by just doing stupid shit like this. So my little brother and I, okay, we thought it would be a good idea on like our kind of like taller garage door, like not a shop garage door, but we had like a taller garage door. We thought it'd be a good idea that somebody would press the button for it to go up. We would hang on it. We would hang on the garage door and see how far off the ground.
That sounds like fun. Even to this day, it sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, because I think it was like a 12-foot garage door. So like you
Right?
get pretty high up there.
How far can you get up in the air before you panic?
My poor little brother. I'm like, all right, Jacob. Like I was like talking shit. I'm like, there's no way you're beating me, because I almost got to the top, and then I kind of like you couldn't actually get to the top because it would like retract all the way back.
Right, your knuckles would go into the yeah.
Okay. So, dude, my little brother's up there, and I press the button. It's like, like his little feet are like off the ground. He's not letting go. Dude, he's not letting go. And I'm like, I'm actually at this point, I'm encouraging him to not let go. I'm like, you can do it. Like, don't let go. Don't let go.
Oh, no,
dude,
no.
The loudest fucking crash I've ever heard in my life.
Oh,
Off the fucking tracks. Just not only that, Jacob falls so hard. The garage door is at like a 45 degree. Okay. Again, my dad was not home. We didn't know what to do, bro. So we just left it. So the first thing that this man sees when he gets off work, driving into his driveway, is just this destroyed, totaled garage door. My brother and I'm not even bullshitting you. We hid under our beds with pillows inside of our shorts, preparing for what was to come, dude. We were there for like 2 hours.
He's gonna whip my ass. I'm gonna pad this shit up.
We shared a bedroom. I heard my brother whimpering. When he heard my dad come through the door, he started crying.
Oh my god.
So, anyways,
Oh shit, Birdie just froze up. Either that or he just froze totally froze the fuck up.
it's fun. That felt good to reminisce.
We have not talked about anything that either one of our viewers actually sign up to watch. You know,
Did you see all the ones? Dude, DA, you gotta let it go, man. You gotta let it.
By the way, my dad, as an aside, so since we're going, my dad never spanked me again after the one day that I can't even remember. I don't even remember what I did, but I got him so mad that he like took off the belt and he laid into me. I mean, he laid in, and he's not a violent guy, but he laid into me, and I was trying to roll away, like I'm trying to block. I'm putting my hands behind my butt to try to block the swings, right? And yeah, he lost control of himself that day and never spanked me again. And then they said that's why I turned out to be a bad kid in some regards, because, well, you didn't spank him. I'm like, my dad felt so bad because he just like completely lost control. Like, that motherfucker, you will move your hands. I'm gonna whoop your ass. He made me go out. He made me go out and find a switch at first. You know, you want to beat your ass, it better be the right size switch. Psychological warfare in a child.
That is psychological warfare, dude. There was so when my brother and I started getting like a little bit older, and we ended up moving because my little sister was born. Like, or we had to share a room, and we shared a room until, you know, she was like out of like the nursery phase. So then we moved. But at our old house, one of like the last memories that I ever have at that house is the only time I have ever seen my dad go from like just seeing red mad to belly laughing, wheezing uncontrollably. Okay. I don't even, dude, I can't even describe it, but I can tell you what happened. So my little brother and I, we just did like stupid little shit, like in the summertime, to like mess with my parents. You know, our bedtime was whatever, 9:30, 10 o'clock. We never stayed in bed. They finally got us a TV for Christmas one year so that we could watch, you know, DVDs. Like, I think we would watch like Agent Cody Banks or some shit, but we would go on these like missions, right? And we would like army crawl, and we'd try to see who could get past this doorway. Okay. right? Or like sometimes we would try to army crawl and sneak. Other times it was just like a full on sprint. Okay, so you can picture this like childhood memory. Like we're in the zone, dude. Like we're planning this out, like distractions. Okay,
Right.
so we had gotten caught like 4 or 5 times at this point. It's driving my dad up a wall, who's just trying to relax in the recliner. And if you ever had a recliner father, you're gonna know exactly the noise that I'm talking about when you know you're cooked. Boom! That's when you know when the recliner comes down in such a way that it's intimidating.
Yeah.
That's how you know you're in for. So,
Oh my God.
So anyways, we hear that recliner. We're like, oh shit, get back to the bed. Get back to the bed. So we're in, we're like pretending to be asleep. Obviously we're not. And my dad just comes in and he's like, what the hell's going on? Blah, 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 blah. What are you guys doing? And so he's like, if I see you guys one more time, we're going to be having a much different conversation the next time, right? The classic dad
I love
voice.
that. I love that. I love that language. We're going to have a much different conversation.
Yeah.
This time.
Well, what do you think we did, DA? We start hyping each other up. We're like, dude, the stakes have never been higher.
The stakes have never been. Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
So at this point, we then spent probably long enough planning this one out to where my dad thought we actually probably fell asleep. Okay. So he's probably like, thank God, like those 2 dumbasses are asleep now. And we proceed to go, and we said, well, dude, we should go at the same time. Like, let's both do it. You guys can picture what happened. We hear the recliner, and dude, my dad must have had like a light jog going at this point. Like the recliner went down, and like he was hauling ass to the room. So for whatever reason, dude, he picks up this damn, like it was like a SpongeBob toy. Okay, so he like doesn't break. I like look back down the hallway. I'm like, oh shit, he's coming. Is what I was thinking. I see my dad not even break stride. He like picks this SpongeBob stuffed animal up off the ground. He leans back and just dots my brother in the back of the head, dude. My brother goes flying past me. I have this thought of like, oh shit, like I'm so glad that's not me. You know what I mean? Like,
oh my God.
As the SpongeBob toy hits my brother simultaneously, Jacob falls down. The SpongeBob toy goes, he goes, ha, ow. Like, what are the odds that all that happens just to have the SpongeBob toy? Like, that's the timing that it was up on.
I have to say, Bertie, though, you've got a child on the way.
Oh,
Remember all of this shit and what you did to your parents, and give a little bit of grace the first time or so.
Yeah, I know, right? And it's like that's why part of me. And what's funny is Mrs. Birdie was a menace too. I know she was. She acts like she was a goody good. Like whenever I'm like, I know there's no way, because I know, knowing you as an adult, I'm seeing patterns where I'm like, something doesn't line up. Like, what aren't you telling me about? Like what are we in for as parents? We need to have this conversation. Like, I'm being very forthright and open about this is the age where I became like a giant asshole. Like, when was it for you? And she says it doesn't exist. I don't know if I can believe that. You know what I mean? I feel like,
yeah,
because I think she's reserving the right to be like, see, they get this shit from you. I can see that in my head already in my future.
I've heard that line. He gets it from you. Yeah. Wow.
What was the most trouble you ever got in as a kid?
I don't know that I can think of the most trouble I got into as a kid off the top of my head. I mean, I got in trouble a lot, especially in church school. I got kicked out of church school. And I think I told you that story. I got kicked out of church school because when my parents sent me when I graduated from 8th grade and was starting high school, they sent me to Upper Columbia Academy, which was a Seventh-day Adventist school. And I did not want to go. So I got my ear pierced that weekend. I did my own ear piercing. I pierced my ear, shoved a post through my ear and pierced my ear. And then I would take it out during class, and then I'd put it back in at night in the dorm room. And I organized a poker game in my room, both of which were really no-nos at the church school. And I got my ass thrown out. I think, and that sounds super mild. That got me, that's from one of the worst things I did. I got kicked. I got myself kicked out, and I never went back to church. I never went back to church school after that. Like I was public school from then on out. And by the way, I found out that public school kids are a lot less trouble than church school kids because everybody was looking to rebel at the church school.
Dude, I actually, because where I grew up, it was K through 8 was church school. Then it was just one high school. It was like 5 or 6 schools that made one high school, and dude, all the church kids were bad. Like they were always like getting in the most trouble or just doing like the craziest shit that I don't know why. It's like, is it like freedom? Does it feel different going to public school? I can imagine if you're getting hit by a whistle paddle. Like, that
I tell you, some of the people I went to church school with turned out to be the worst. Like a guy that I really liked, he became a pimp, and he pimped out one of the girls that I dated in school. Shit you not. I shit you not. Like I had a girlfriend in 7th grade. Freaking, that chick was amazing. She was amazing. She had a nickname. I didn't know her nickname became her prostitute name. No, I'm not making this shit up. This was in church school.
What was the nickname?
Roxy. Roxy was her nickname. And so it wasn't anything spectacular, but I was like, why do you call yourself Roxy? Well, it turns out that was her prostitution name. She literally would get pimped out by this guy. And I was like, what the hell is it with us in church school? Like we turned out way worse than the public school kids I went to school with. It was
at what age was he the pimp? Was this when he got to public school, or is this older?
Well, I mean, I dated her when we were in 7th grade. I didn't find out about the pimping thing until years later when I was in my 20s. Oh. So I don't know when exactly she became a prostitute kind of thing. But I mean, I shit you not. Like I can't make later on. I'm reaching out to an ex-girlfriend. I'm like, hey, we had great times together. I miss you. What have you been up to? Oh, I just got out of prison. I got pimped out by so-and-so who was in the school with us. And I'm like, oh my God, that's my church school.
Wait,
that's amazing.
So did this? I'm under the impression that this happened as soon as church school got done. She became.
I think so. So
this was in schools.
Got it. Did it? Oh yeah. By the way, you didn't phrase up. Great story about her, but no, this isn't.
No. Wait, hang on. So, are you not friends with this guy because he pimped your girlfriend out, or what is the?
He didn't pimp her out when I knew her. That was she got older.
Oh okay, my God, I've been trying to ask you what age. What age did the pimp become the pimp?
In our 20s.
Okay. 20s. I don't think you said that. I'm thinking this is like an 8th.
I'm sorry I didn't clarify that. Yeah, no, that happened later. I reached out to her years later. There's like how she's been doing, and that's when I found out about that.
Yeah. Hey, LA Mike goes, when you say dated, did that mean you had to go through your buddy?
I mean, I only paid like $20 at the time. It was pretty cheap.
Oh my God. This is.
Oh my God. We gotta not do this so often.
Awful. What's wrong?
Captain took us off the case.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I told Terry about my dark days in college. It brought up some feelings.
Well, honey Dick, that was a long time ago. You're not that same person you were.
You don't get it. There is a darkness inside of me. It wants to get out, wants to walk around. It wants some walking around money. And it wants to buy some shoes. And it wants to walk up with the people and say, hey, Gator don't play no shit. You feel me? Gator never been about that. Never been about playing no shit.
There's some darkness inside. There's some darkness inside of me. True.
Oh, man. Gator don't play. What was your buddy's pimp name? I feel like that's just as important.
I never knew his pimp name, and I dated his sister back in the day as well a little bit.
Wow.
Well, I wouldn't say dated. I had a crush on her, and we were boyfriend girlfriend for like I don't know, like 5 days. But
I think that Heatherly. Yes, he does say that so nonchalantly. But Gypsy had a good point. Maybe we do the first Monday of every month like this.
I don't think people will understand it. Like that's the problem from a branding
people
perspective.
Understand this exactly.
Somebody signs into Devil's Advocates and they're like, "What the hell is this guy doing?" Like, this is nothing about true crime, about constitutional rights, about any of the shit that he talks about.
Yeah, it's
but
great.
it is fun.
It's
I
a
tell you, we
plot
need to do
twist.
this as an after dark show that's paid members only or something, so
Well,
I can like.
So you've been, first of all, hang on. At this point now, you're on record enough where you've let it fly. I mean, for God's sakes, your girlfriend was pimped out, and
My girlfriend. You know how bad it sounds in retrospect, dude. Your girlfriend was pimped out, dude. It was
your buddy got his ass beat by a priest at a church school so bad that it shut down.
I think you're making me suicidal. I had a shitty childhood.
Your teachers were drunk as hell all the time.
Oh my God, I had it bad.
Yeah,
I got it. I get it. I need some therapy.
Yeah, it's it's your inner child. It needs to heal, and you have therapy the first Monday of every month.
And I headbutted.
You headbutted a girl?
Yeah, I did.
I know that you probably got another one in the chamber.
I'm still pissed that I never got to fight back. I got kicked out of school for fighting and never got to hit the guy back.
Yeah, you had an illegal gambling group.
I organized an illegal gambling at my church school. Yeah.
Your dad read you porn.
Oh my gosh! Speaking of that, back in the day. Oh, shut it down, Bertie. Shut the live down. We're done.
No. Now we have to.
Okay, I have a great story. I don't know if it's going to be a great story. I apologize in advance. I have probably had a few too many cups of coffee, so I apologize in advance. But I will say one of the greatest stories of my life starts like this. I had my parents and we all lived this was when I was in high school. And my dad was buddy with the guy that sold satellite dishes, and he sold a satellite dish. And it turned out that he tells my dad in front of me, by the way, you get all the XXX channels on this. My mom says, is there any parental controls so you can shut that down? My dad says, we don't need parental controls. And I'm like, fuck yeah, Dad. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So I got to see some shit. But turns out, this is the great part of the story. Turns out, the guy that he flew a helicopter. The guy that sold the satellite dish, he flew a helicopter. I went to a concert in my teens called Monsters of Rock. And if I remember right, it had Scorpions. These are bands of people who are like, who the hell are these guys? It had Scorpions. It had Metallica. It had Dokken, which probably nobody knows who the hell Dokken is anymore. And it had Metallica was great. And it wasn't even, I wasn't into Metallica. And when they played For Whom the Bell Tolls, I lost my shit. And I'm like, I'm a fucking Metallica fan today. But anyways, point being, and Aerosmith was there. That's the bands I remember. Now get this. Turns out after the concert, I get back. And by the way, I have stories about the groupies picking up teenage girls after and handing out tickets. Literally, you want to come back to stage the night before I was in line the night before. Roadies were driving around giving out tickets to the hottest teenagers, and they're asking them if they want to have backstage passes. That's what I learned a lot about that shit.
Wow.
But anyways, after I got back from the concert and told my dad about the concert and how great it was, he said he talked to his buddy who flew helicopters, and he said, why didn't your son tell me he was going to Monsters of Rock? I flew all the bands from the hotel to the concert. He could have flown in the helicopter with Aerosmith and Metallica and all the bands. I would have gladly had him come along. And I'm like, oh my God, like I just totally missed the opportunity to meet all these bands in a helicopter. Would have been the greatest moment of my life. It's the fish that got away story for the Devil's Advocates. That
I'm not going to lie. I saw that story going something like this. Okay. Your mom had asked for these parental controls. Your father says, well, we don't need that. You're hyped. He's hyped. Your mom probably ends up maybe being opportunistic every now and again, where it gets to the point one night at the dinner table, your dad just looks at all of you guys after getting the bill after the first month, and he just goes, it stops today. That's how I could have saw that going.
Yeah, I got another inappropriate story for that whole thing. But yeah,
you can't just say that and not say it.
So it was horrible. I grew up
like LA Mike goes, we want more pimp stories, DA.
I apologize if you lost subscribers today. So here's the thing. My parents were very religious. Like I said, I was in church schools until going to high school. Right. So when this whole fiasco happened, my parents made me feel guilty as hell that I liked females that were unclothed. They're like, why are you looking at that? That's not appropriate. You shouldn't be looking at that. You're a teenage boy. That's inappropriate. Whatever. This is a sad story. Anyways,
Wow. Yeah, DA, you need this Monday night therapy, huh?
Yeah,
Get it out.
I ended up becoming very, very disillusioned. One, when my dad kicked me out of the house because I was drinking in high school. And he kicked me out of the house for that. And my mom fought and got me back in the house. Then later on, I found out in life, and this is where you ever see emotional damage. This is where I get emotional damage, right?
Yeah, I know
Emotional damage.
Yeah.
That was me, because after my dad kicks me out of the house for drinking and whatever, and telling me that it's inappropriate to look at naked ladies, I find out that my dad would ply my mom with alcohol and watch porn so she would get in the mood for things. And I was like, you preached to me. You made me feel like I was the worst piece of crap on the face of the planet. And yeah, so I told you it was dark. It's a dark story, but I at that moment it created emotional damage in my life. Like, I spent my whole life feeling guilty for things, and I'm like, you're telling me this whole time that my dad, who hates alcohol, kicks me out of the house for alcohol, is drinking alcohol with my mom and watching the stuff they told me not to watch, and making me feel like I need an elder to come over from the church and talk to me about it. It caused problems, man.
They were trying to keep you innocent, probably.
Yeah,
They knew it would get you eventually.
I would rather just have honesty. This is why my tagline is truth. I would rather know the truth and have it suck than live a lie and be happy. That's my caveat.
So somebody just had a great idea where they're like, dude, this could be an entire show. But no, hang on. And honestly, I think Hive type of 1, we could try this one time. I want to plan this out, because I've actually looked into getting a software that I can overlay where people can either type voice messages and it gets read on screen, or they can call in. So somebody said you should do a childhood story call-in stream. That would probably be epic. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. The ones are coming. That would
Brian Todd, by the way, Brian Todd has the comment of the day. And at that moment, his childhood was over. That was
and at that moment.
And at that was the moment he knew he fucked up. At that moment, his childhood was over. That was it.
Yeah, was it. Dude, that would be hilarious. And we could, you know how we do the round table, Hive? We'll keep doing the round table. That would be so fun. It's like, okay, we have, childhood stories one time. It could be call-ins about like worst first date. It could be dude. Yes.
I don't have any more stories to tell. I think I'm telling everything tonight. Like, my whole life story is getting over.
Well, tell us your worst first date, DA.
Fuck no.
Yeah, tell us. I mean, for God's sakes, you got stalking charges one time, didn't you? Or something like that.
I never got charges. I had the police called on me, but it wasn't charges. Yeah, I don't have a worst first date kind of thing. I didn't date a lot, to be honest with you. I didn't date a lot.
Somebody in the Hive has to have just an absolutely epically horrendous first date that could be summed up in 2 sentences or less. Oh, yeah, and there could be a limit. That's a great idea, Sky Blue. It could be like a 3, 4, maybe 3 minutes is short, maybe like 5 minutes, right? That's a long time, right, DA?
Yeah. I mean, what are we talking about? What are we comparing it to?
It would have to be like an after dark show. We should do it on Friday night. That'd be fun. Yeah, that would be fun. A call and a stream with a different subject every week would be a blast. Yeah. Dude, sometimes we just, even for my own like soul, dude, we talk about a lot of heavy shit. I mean,
we
for
do.
God's sakes,
That's the
we're
thing.
talking about like how these people were killed.
Yes.
Or if they were killed.
Yeah.
I mean, with so many other, you know how many people have thought faked their death at this point, dude? It's not, I need creative freedom. I need to listen. I need to be surrounded by people who, the energy.
I 100% agree with you. The question is, should we be doing it as part of our channel? But you're right. Like, we have to blow off steam sometime, because you're right. We talk about some deep, like really disturbing stories. And you have to, that's why I interject humor in my shit, because I feel like, I know it sounds like it's inappropriate to make a joke in the middle of a serious topic, but you have to lighten it up a little bit. It's pretty heavy shit.
Well, so. and I can tell you all too, from my perspective, for what it's worth, I feel like I have my best streams when I take a day or two off and I do one of these type of shows, and
Yeah.
then I come back, re-excited, all that stuff. But I mean, that is one thing, DA, that I will say, I've always branded the Hive as like thinking different hits difference, right? So like it could apply to anything. It could apply to like, I'm thinking differently about what a live stream could be. And that's, the chat is a part of the live stream, and it's interactive, and people actually come for they get to participate in it. And so, well, yes, we've talked about the IDO4 because everybody in Moscow is corrupt as hell, and it's a portal to hell. And I think there's a lot of constitutional things that I don't like about it. There's always going to be time to dissect and discuss those cases, but there might not always be time to hear epic childhoods from people, childhood stories from people. So, I think that
what I dig about
criminal videos.
It's funny about you and I, like we don't script things. You and I, when we go live together, there's really not, I mean, literally, I think I texted you maybe 30 minutes before the show, hey, what are we talking about tonight? And you're like, I don't know, let's talk about this. And it's like more and more you and I are just going off the cuff, because in some regards, I think we're best when we go off the cuff kind of thing. But again, it's not really my, what do you got?
I remembered a comment that I read on your stream today. I was watching one of your older, not older streams. I was like, what is that video? Because it came on my thing and it was surprise guess. Well, it was when you called into mine, because it didn't like have a thumbnail. So
Right.
What is that?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, I read somebody's comment and it was like something along the lines of like, this was the perfect stream for me. They said, Birdie is my ADD side of my brain. Devil's Advocates is the autistic side of my brain. I'm like,
Right.
Oh my God.
That's what I said. I saw that comment. I'm like, am I autistic?
Hey, I've never once thought of myself that way. Like, I can tell you didn't know how to respond to that.
I remember that. And I was like, I'm the autistic side of your brain. Like, do I have autism? Like, I started like, I need to check into therapy. Did I have autism this whole time?
See, DA, similar to like when my little brother was trying to run by me in the room and he got dotted with the SpongeBob toy. And I was like, I'm so glad that was not me. I'm not gonna lie. There was a piece of me that I was like, oh, thank God I'm the ADD side of it. Right?
And not the autistic side. Fair enough.
I mean, it is what it is, but no, this is a lot of fun, man. I'm gonna stay on for about 5-10 more minutes. Yeah. Last night I kind of inadvertently just stayed on after the guests and just shot the shit with the chat. And Dawn was texting me saying like, I think that was a lot of fun, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to get back into doing that. So thank you so much for popping on up. To everybody that's over in the Devil's Den, thank you for tuning in. And DA, I'll see you next Monday.
All right. Thank you so much for having me again.
Yep. Peace out.
Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
See ya. Oh, Hive. My cheeks hurt. These cheeks hurt. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. We're making progress. We're making progress. That was a good show. DA, we always will end up getting them a little bit loosened up. So I love that call-in idea. Who suggested that? I want to make sure. I know I had it on screen. Who suggested that? I want to give them the top dog award. Yeah, I agree. That was a lot of fun. I know. That's what I hear. Yeah, it was needed. I don't know if that person is still in here who gave that suggestion, but dude, I think that would be a blast. I mean, even if that's not a cross stream thing, and me and DA, we just do, a Monday a month with him. As I said, after this week, I'm really going to go back to, and it's nothing against people that are on the stream, right? I'm talking with all of them. It's completely civil. I just need to go back to doing a little bit more solo streams. I might try to start and go and reach out to other type of channels like this, maybe that talk that are talking about something else, where we can go and give our insight and we can bring the Hive to their chat. So I'm thinking through some stuff, but in general, I really like just getting in here and sitting with the chat one-on-one. I think that's important for me to get back to. Chevy Metal did. Hell yeah. Nice. Chevy Metal. Top dog. And I also thought about getting like a because I'm going with this whole lit up background now. I also thought about getting like an LED light up whiteboard that sits like right here, and it'll have like, you know, a Top Dog Hall of Fame that I can like actually write people's usernames on. So I need to get that, because there's some that just, they got to live in infamy, you know, like KDF with the Tiggle Biddies comment. that would be like a Hall of Fame comment. We've had some good ones and they deserve to be remembered. It'd actually be cool to kind of like, it'd be fun to be able to like get like, if I could print them off and somehow have like, maybe like it could be like the door of fame. Like I could just like tack them to the door or like tape them to the door, all the comments. Yeah, she's the first inductee. Jen says she needs a username. All right, Jen. Hive, let's focus up. Jen, what's a talent you have? What is something that you're either incredibly bad at or good at? Like, we got Not Lamey Jamie set up in about 5 seconds last night. Yeah, Tiggo, but look at this. We are surrounded by epic comments. Ball so hard they call me Allen Hiverson. Jesus goddamn Christ. Can we get that on a t-shirt immediately? Detective Mowry, it pains me. It pains me to do this. I don't want to do it. Detective Mowry, I don't want to give you it. But that deserves a top dog award. Damn it. None of your mom comments are getting on there. Mildly epic comments, that would be one. Looks like we got almost, let me see if this is right. I mean, let's see this. Like I said, I've been trying to grow the Hive a bit and stream over on X. We got almost 50 people on X, so that's cool. If you are tuning in on X, type a 1. Yeah, face cheeks mildly hurt. Zen Jen, number 1. Love that. Zenny Jenny. Yeah, I got to come up with one for you now, Mowry. Zen Jen, love it. Red Pill Jen. Jenny, oh, Jenny from the block. There was like 3 that came in at the same time that said that. Oh, that's a, like I could write it on a like I could do like a white or like a dry erase marker on a magnet strip. That's a good idea. You know, the other thing too, guys, like I've said this with like keeping the streams free. I really feel like adamant about that. So if it seems awkward whenever like that just gets brought up, I don't know. I want to have fun with everybody, and even if it was a stream or whatever, I just feel like there's principles that like when you put them out, and if it ever changes, then it does. But I don't plan on it changing. Jen, not X. Well, which one are you gonna pick, Jen? You got to change the name. Jenny from the Hive is awesome. Lamey Jenny from Lamey Jamie. Chevy's Jenny and the Bats. That's good. Yeah. If you go to my bio, or if you type in birdiebombshell.com, that's where you can get the hoodies, the hats that I got. I'm working with Dana from the Hive. We got some cool shit coming. We're revamping our website, which is going to be sick, which is going to be awesome. I think you guys are going to like the new merch. Dana's been putting in a lot of work on that. I'm excited to see it. Jen and Juice. Oh, you guys are hilarious. Hell yeah. Shout out Shoe Girl, Dana. Jenny's mom has got it going on. Okay. Jenny or Jen, you got to have enough now that you can confidently pick any of them. Fiji seems like she might be a little bit behind in the stream. Yeah, thank you, Luna. Appreciate you. Okay, that sounds good. We'll hold you to it. We will hold you to it. All right. Well, take it easy, Drew Bledsoe. And let's see. What do we want to? So here, we still got a little bit of time here. What do we want to dive into tomorrow? So we've been doing this working theory. I've been trying to go back and watch the footage of oh shit, why am I blanking on the address of the most recent security footage that was released? Was it 1320? Right? Yeah, 1320. No. What's the address of the house right in front of their house, guys? Why am I blanking on that? That they released Brian Koberger's car. It looks like it's going backwards. What the hell? Oh, 11. Is it 1330 or 11? Whatever. Who cares? You guys know what I'm talking about. I don't know why I just blanked on that. Jesus Christ. So anyways, my thought when I'm watching that is I wanted to time that up with, did somebody get taken to the hospital? Did it whatever? Like, just thinking out loud. I'm telling you, the more that I watch that footage, dude, I'm convinced. I am absolutely convinced that they are playing that footage in reverse of the car driving. I can't unsee that. And I know we've said we're going to go back to the beginning and we're going to forget everything that we know, but I swear that car looks like it is going backwards and the headlights are in front of it, and it drives to the same side of the road that it would have driven up on, assuming you're driving on the right side of the road. It's got me in a pretzel right now because I don't know what to do with that theory. Yeah, that's like, and unfortunately, that's kind of where that theory of somebody getting taken to the hospital, I guess, it doesn't stop per se. But then, so now what I'm trying to do is go back through the Linda Lane dumpster cam where you can see down at the end of that street. So maybe we can dive into that tomorrow. I don't know. I'm back at that point too where my brain just hurts. It's happened every time you have a different theory that lines up. You get so far and then you run into a brick wall again. So, all right, everybody. I hope you all have a fantastic evening. Get some great sleep. Go out, crush your day tomorrow. I will be back here in the Hive at 7 p.m. Central. Cheers, everybody.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.